Hello YouTube and welcome to my channel. Well, it's a fall day here in Canada and today we're going to take a look at the Yuneec Mantis-G. So you remember a year ago the Mantis-Q came out. I reviewed it in 2018 and then by Christmas of that year I thought they were going to come out with the Mantis-G, but it took them a long time. It took them until about now. So it's been over a year since the Mantis-Q has been on the market that they came out with the Mantis-G. The big difference, over all that time is they put a gimbal on the camera. So your little camera here, 4K, now has a gimbal. Before it was all electronic image stabilization only. Now they've put electronic image stabilization and a gimbal together to hopefully make better quality videos. So we're going to check that out. Now for the Mantis-G, Yuneec has kept the same style, the same format, everything right here. I can unfold it and it looks like that. And the gimbal on the front, I'll show you that right now. There's our little gimbal up front. Now, unfortunately, Yuneec only put a 2-axis gimbal, so it does up and down and it does side like that, but it doesn't go side to side like this. They use electronic image stabilization for that. And I don't want to freak everybody out, but they don't use electronic image stabilization in all video resolutions. So when you get up to I think it's 2.7K, there's electronic image stabilization and the gimbal. When it jumps to 4K, which is the resolution most of us are going to use nowadays, yeah, they take off the image stabilization and just use the gimbal. Everything else about this drone, when I reviewed it in 2018, it's really good. I loved it. They really added a lot of good features. It's very reliable, has a beautiful sport mode. It flies. Oh, it flies so pro. It's such a good drone. The only thing lacking back then was, well, 2 things. And those 2 things are Yuneec has never discovered how to make a smart battery. All their batteries, I call them dumb batteries. You just charge them up and there you go. You don't have a clue how much power is left and they do not discharge. Doesn't matter what drone they make. They all seem to be like that. And the second thing was just the gimbal. All right, let's go fly this and check it out and see how good it is in the year 2019. First things first, power this on. Hold this button down. There we go, she's powered on. Now it's gonna start getting GPS signal and everything else it needs. Next, power on the remote. I have my little antennas in the back, the smallest antennas known to man pointing down. There we go, the remote's on. Phone is attached, we're all good. There we go, start up the app. It says connect it. Hit connect it and we should be ready to go. There's our screen and it gives us a bunch of help features, what everything does. You can see it on my screen, all those little green arrows. If I tap, it shows you everything else. This is probably good for people watching. You can see where everything is. Is there any more? Yeah, some more. It tells me all that good stuff. And I think we're all good. So let me just show you what firmware I'm running. I've updated the app and I've calibrated the gimbal and that is my firmware. Now, when you get this drone, you might have a different firmware or in future I might have different firmware with different features. I just want to show you the video sizes as I was explaining. You'll see that EIS is only available HD, FHD, FHD, UHD, and then the top UHD 4K 30. EIS is not available. So I think a lot of people would probably use this drone on a windy day. You would probably pick 2.7 EIS, and on a day when it's not too windy, pick 4K 30 FPS. And for photo modes, there's the screen for photo modes. You see you even have gesture mode now and face detection. And for photo format, you can actually go JPEG and DNG. DNG is RAW. All right, at the top of my screen, it says drone connected and I have 16 satellites. And it also says that voice recognition is on. You see the little microphone, the green microphone. So on the screen quickly, I'm going to show you the first thing you could say is wake up. And then you would do your voice commands and you would have your flight commands like take off, landing, go home, all that good stuff. You see them all here? These are all things you can say if you want to use the voice commands. It's quite a bit. All right, so there's my little Mantis. Let's see if the voice commands work. Take off.
Take off, please confirm.
Yes.
Take
there we go.
Now.
So if you had to use voice commands because you had a disability or your hands were doing something else, you could do that. Perfectly stable drone. If you take a look at my screen, watch this. If I go on the maps are really nice on here. See how my map looks and where I am and everything? So I really like the maps on the Mantis interface. All right, so now you're wondering, how is the camera? Right, there's my little Mantis-Q right there. And how do I look? How does everything appear here? This is me, and if I fly it upwards, do I still look good? Is it nice and smooth? I'm gonna bring the gimbal down on me because the gimbal's pretty smooth on this. Nice little tracking upwards. How is that? So this is 4K, no electronic image stabilization, it's just the gimbal stabilization. I'm gonna take it out over the water really quick, get some video footage. So I'm going full forward, I'm not in sport mode. So this drone flies extremely well. As I'm walking here, I'm driving it around me. It's definitely a professional drone in the flight characteristics mode. This thing is really sweet to fly. It just has non-jerky abilities. It's very smooth. All right, but I don't know how the video quality looks because you're seeing it, I haven't seen it, so we'll see when I get back home. Okay, now we're gonna do the gimbal test. The gimbal test, I'm gonna move this side to side, up and down, everything. This is in 4K where the Mantis is only using the gimbal for stabilization. So when I go side to side, there might be a problem. Let's see. So here, let's try up and down first. There's up, there's down, there's up, there's down, and you know, start and stop. Let's try the forward, the backward. How is that? Does it look half decent? You know, any drone without a gimbal, it would look terrible. Now here's the one where I don't think it's gonna do too good. It's the side to side. Here we go. Side, 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 side. How's that? If it did well, then it's perfectly fine for your use. Now I'm gonna turn off the recording. I'm gonna put it in 2.7K. Okay, this is 2.7K. It's using the gimbal and electronic image stabilization. So it's less of a resolution, but it should be better stabilization. So let's try the forward and backwards first. Forward, backwards, forwards, come on. And backwards, how's that? And then we're gonna try the up and down, up, down, going down, up, down, how's that? And now the side to side, which is this one. Side, and side, and side. Ooh, I'm going too far on the sides here. Side to side, there we go. How's that? It should be better than the previous one, I would think. But then again, I haven't seen the video. You're seeing it as I'm seeing it. So on my screen, there's a little box in the lower left. I'm gonna click that. Here we have all the features. First feature we're gonna try is journey mode. I'll click on journey mode. Journey, it tells me everything about it. I'm not gonna read it. You can read it on your screen really quick, and I'll hit OK. I think the journey mode works like this. Now, I could have it wrong. If I remember the Typhoon H, it works on the angle of your camera. So if I pull this up higher and make my angle go down, so the camera has to go down, now it will cause the journey mode to go on an angle upwards. If I don't and I keep the camera level with me, it will just go out straight. So it depends what you want to get. So let's try this, and let's see if it automatically records, because right now I'm not putting on the record. I'll see what it does. So I'll hit start, see if it goes into record mode. And it comes back to me. And there we go. All right, let me try the visual follow on here. Visual follow, I'll just do it follow me, select the target, see if it works, blah, 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 blah. And drone out 2 is lower, I gotta bring it up. You know, it wants to follow from up there. And I should have to draw, enter visual follow. So it looks like it changed my video resolution. It's gonna change it to a lower resolution. So I can hit start on my screen. Record goes on automatically. So let's see how good the follow is. I'll walk over here. You can see it on my screen. Well, the follow seems to be pretty good. Obviously, if it loses me, it's not going to follow me. But here, I'm gonna run a bit. I'm running. This is gonna catch up. Going around the picnic tables. It lost me. Well, at least it did crash into that tree. Let me get back over there. I'm over here, dude. There we go, it's got me again. Okay. I'll be a little nicer. So the follow me function has been slightly improved, I think. I don't know if it's as good as a DJI follow. So the follow me function is very much like the Autel Evo. It's really good as long as you don't go around other objects. It gets confused. Try point of interest. That's a common one. So good, 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 good. Let's try that. 5 meters out, speed is 3 meters, and what direction do you want to go? So I'm gonna say that's the point of interest, and that's a good one. It shouldn't hit anything. It's gonna go 5 meters out, and then should start spinning in the direction I asked it to. There's nothing over there, so it's good. There we go. Oh, I should bring that gimbal up, shouldn't I? So you can see me. Hang on a sec. There you go. So it's a pretty fast orbit. And I guess that's the average. You can go faster if you want to. All right, let's hop out of that. Pause that. You'll notice on my screen every time I do the autonomous flights, I always get an error in the top left. It's either going to say the camera can't change resolutions or the camera stop goes into failure to stop record. So I don't know if any of this is recording. Let's see what the smart shots are. Rising up and spiral. So let's try the rising up. Creates an up and forward flight with the camera slowly rising from ground to horizon. Okay, so I have the drone over there. I've got it. Whoa, Canada geese. Hey guys. Have a good flight. Start. Here she comes. It's gonna like whack me in the head. Holy crap. Okay, that should be called not rising up, but it should be called freak you out. On the left, we have a cinema mode. Let's see what that is. Cinema mode, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so this is just a smoother flight feeling while you're flying. Yes, I know, it's gonna crash into things, it says. So in the lower right, it shows I'm in cinema mode. And let me just change the resolution here. Does it let me? Yeah, I can put it in 4K cinema mode. And I'm in cinema mode for flying. Let's try it. Should be slow movements. Oh my God, it's like tripod mode. Look at some, that's full forward. Very slow to turn. That is super slow movements for turning. I see why they call it cinema mode. Look at this, I'm gonna go really low and spin it. I'm spinning it as fast as I can. Look at it, it's going so slow. So there's no jerky movements. It's just, it's almost like GoPro-like. It's very, very smooth, that hyper smooth. I'll have it zoom past me. There we go. All right. So cinema mode, I could see a use for that. Now there is a waypoint mode on here, but I don't think I'm gonna try it. I'm just gonna show you what it is. So waypoints, create a waypoint route by clicking on the maps. So next thing says, set the parameters, you know, the height of each waypoint, and a point of interest can be set so that the camera is always facing that point of interest. So it looks like I'm in waypoint mode now. I'd have to click new, I guess. I really don't know. Waypoint 1, there's a plus and a minus. Okay, so I put 1, I tap the screen 1, 2. Okay, I've only put 2 waypoints, and then I have no idea because I can't really read my screen. There's a little arrow at the bottom right, and there's geese going over again. Hey geese! I can hit this little arrow at the bottom right, see what happens. And now it wants me to set the, oh I see, set the height for the waypoint, use same altitude for all waypoints. I'll say yes. Waypoint action, what do I want it to do? Oh, so at waypoint 1 I could say start recording, take a photo or whatever. And then I would just hit start, save, don't save, I don't want to save this one. And then it says slide to start. I don't even know where my first waypoint is. I am going to hit stop though. So you see it's turning, I'm not doing anything. It's about to take off to the first waypoint. It's going up to the 20 meters that I told it to. And it will then do what it has to do. I don't even know if it's recording. It's probably not because I didn't hit the record on. There it goes. So it's going to the first waypoint. I'm just going to hit stop because I don't want it to do that. Stop, success. I think the ones people are going to use the most, or just with this drone, is if you're out on vacation, you're going to use the dronies, the point of interest, the visual follow. Probably use the smart shots too. I'm going to try sport mode, which is always fun. So here we're going to put in sport mode. Sport mode is activated. It should be pretty darn quick. There we go. How's it look? I have no image stabilization on. Got to put the brakes on. All right, here we go. Go in reverse, sport mode. That's supposed to be 70 some odd kilometers per hour, 72 I think. There we go, that's no image stabilization, way over the water. There we go. The sport mode uses up a lot of battery power, so I'm going to hit return to home. There's a return to home button on here. See if it lands on the landing pad. It's up there. It's coming down pretty fast. Oh, comes down and stops every now and then. And oh, don't hit my camera. It's gonna hit my camera. Get that out of the way. There we go. So there's the landing pad, and there's where the drone landed, and it almost landed on this camera. So it makes this sound, I think, so you can find it. So you can just pick it out of where it is. All right. So what'd you think about the Mantis-G? I have not seen the video quality. I don't know what it looks like in 2.7K, and I don't know what it looks like in 4K. Was the stabilization good? Did it seem like something usable that you could take with you on vacation? It flies like a dream. It's not very loud unless you're in sport mode, then it's crazy loud because it just sounds like there's something weird going on in the sky, but it really hauls butt, I'll tell you. The only problem I had, everything worked perfect on here, but the only problem I had is when I went into the autonomous flight modes. For some reason, when it goes into autonomous flight modes, it wants to start and stop the record itself. So if I have the record on and then it goes into the mode, and say I'm recording in 4K and it wants to record in 2.7K, it glitches up and it says problem, error, whatnot. You probably saw it on the screen if I showed you it. And sometimes that would crash the app, and sometimes I'd have to exit the app and exit all the way back in. So autonomous flight mode's Yuneec, you gotta work on that. Only weakness, the price. This thing sells for $699. I don't think it's a $699 drone when you compare the other drones. However, if I was working at Yuneec, I would tell you that yes, it's $699 because those other drones do not have the same support as Yuneec gives for their drones, which is true. Yuneec is international. It does have support. You can send this back in for repair. So with all that said, I'm going to put links below. You can check this out, make up your own determination, your own opinions, and see if it's something for you. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and stay tuned for the unboxing and many more videos coming up. See you in a bit. And now this is the part of the video where we take a look at the Mantis-G. We're going to open up the box and check out what's inside. But before we do that, let me just show you right here sliding across is the earlier version of the Mantis-Q. Now there is a difference between these two. Here we go. This is the Mantis-Q. Stop the video if you want to check out all the specifications on the old Mantis-Q. Long story short is that the Mantis-Q is a different size than the Mantis-G. And it also has a different flight range. Check here. See, video transmission range is up to 1.5 kilometers. And also the weight's a little bit different. The Mantis-Q is a bit lighter than the Mantis-G. Here we have the Mantis-G, the new one, and check out the specs. Stop your video if you wish, and you can see that the size of this here drone is a bit different than the earlier model. It weighs a little bit more, still has the same speed, same battery, but take a look at the transmission here. Down here, you see that? So it says 4 kilometers in North America, and the CE standard is 2 kilometers in Europe. Let's open the box and check out what's inside. First thing we see is a nice little pamphlet that tells you all about know before you fly. Next we have all the goodies. So the first one, this is going to be your instruction manual and all that other good stuff. So let's open that. It's in here, battery warnings, blah, 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 more paperwork, blah, 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 and a quick start, box contents. Let's get rid of the foam, and there we see our drone. Let's take this out and take a close look at it. I will tell you right away that it does not feel like a toy. This is a very high quality product. It's very heavy too. It's got a lot of weight to it. It feels very solid, very nice. Nice touches of silver along the top. Brushless motors, foldable props, and arms that pop out. There we have the Mantis-Q unfolded. Let's go over the features of the drone really quick. Right here would be your power. That is your battery. I can pull this off. This is apparently the same battery as on the Mantis-Q. 11.4 volts, 2800 milliamp battery. Underneath the battery, you have your QR code for the pilot app. Now let's take a quick look at the features on the back and the sides and the front of the drone. So the back, we just see some branding on the battery. Go to the left-hand side, we have some venting holes here, plus another QR code. And then in the front, we actually have our camera with a gimbal guard right here. And then when I go to this side, micro SD card slot and a USB-C connector. And as I flip it upside down, you can see on the arms, we have LED lights right here. We have little blue rubbery landing feet. On the back of the drone, you have 3 sensors. One is optical flow, this one, and these ones are infrared. That's just going to tell you anything getting in the way for landing. Moving along the bottom, we see some more venting here, more branding. Next, we're at the gimbal on the front. Let's take off the gimbal guard, and there's our 2-axis gimbal. So 2-axis means if the drone is flying straight and it goes like this, you see your camera will stay straight. So that's 1 axis. If your drone goes up and down like that, start, stop, that's another axis. So that's a 2-axis. Batteries in the back of the drone. Let's weigh this baby on my scale and see what comes up. I get 516 grams. Next item in the box would be right here. It looks like a picture of a controller on this, so it must be the controller. Nice packaging, and the controller looks to be the same as the previous model. Probably the internals are different since it can transmit much farther. It is a rechargeable controller. The buttons are the same as in previous times. It's little tiny antennas. How the heck does this go to 4 kilometers? On the front, you have your record, you take a photo, and you have your 2 dials here. One's for the gimbal and one is to adjust whatever you want. I believe last version was adjusting the exposure. You can set it to what you want. And here's your sport mode if you want to go 70 some odd kilometers an hour, and that's your return to home. And if I lift that up, That is going to be where your cell phone goes in here. Let's see what else is in the box. Take this out. And we have, well, looks like 3 more boxes below. This large, what appears to be the charging system. Let's see if it's the same as the previous model. Yank that out, see what we have. That's your charging brick. So you get the charging brick, power cable for your country, and a USB cable. That means that this is the charging dock right here for your batteries. The good thing is that since I already have the Mantis-Q, I can use the Mantis-Q battery in this charging dock. So I can charge up 2 batteries. Takes a total of 3. Plug that into the power brick and you're all set. Final item in the box down here must be spare props. And that's what they are. You get a total of 4 sets of spare props. So you can replace all of them plus the screws to screw the props in place. And that is everything included in the box. This brings us to the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, remember, give it a thumbs up and I'll catch you in more videos in the future using this Mantis-G, showing you more features. Take care.